even though we know that Muhammad at 54 slept with a 9-year-old minor, violated her, and pretty much destroyed her life physiologically, mentally, I have heard people say, well, that's not an objection we should raise against Muhammad because at that time, people married young girls and no one raised this objection against Muhammad. In other words, at the time of Muhammad, nobody complained. No one had a problem with it because it was culturally acceptable to marry young, premature girls. So we shouldn't raise this as an objection. What do you say to that? And what do you say to those people? Because some of them are actually Christians who bring this up. What would you say to them in response to this?
Well, isn't it Muhammad when he came uh, uh, to Abu Bakr and he said, I wanna have your daughter as a wife, and then Abu Bakr he said, but you are my brother.
Yeah.
Muhammad he said, I am your brother in the religion, and she is mine. Which means Muhammad he forced Abu Bakr to give his daughter. Secondly, if this is what is the case, why the Muslims don't do today what they used to do before? And who is the one who did that before? Let us say we have more than 80 companions with the Prophet. Name one for me. In the time of Muhammad, he did marry 6 years old baby girl. Who? Abu Bakr? Umar? Ali? Who? Hassan? Hussein? Uthman? None. Nobody marry a child except Muhammad, and for sure Muhammad is the first, and then that we became a sunnah. So now in Yemen they practice this, sadly, but before that nobody do that. Secondly, I'm sure you know the hadith where a guy, his name is Jabir. Jabir, he married a widow, and he was in rush to go to see his wife. So Muhammad he noticed that Jabir want to go home so fast. So he said, "Hey Jabir, what's up?"
Hmm.
He said, "Oh Prophet, I need to go home because I married and I miss my wife." The Prophet he asked him, "Did you marry a virgin, young, or a previously married woman?" The guy he said, "The previously married women." The Prophet said, I'm going to give the hadith to David. So if you like, you can share it, and maybe if you can, I don't know if you, David, he can zoom on the text because it's so small in the in YouTube to people for seeing. So you will see Muhammad encouraging the man who is married to a widow, a woman, real women, to go and get a child, and the purpose is to play with her. Here you see the evil mentality and the evil spirit of a man. What is my business? The guy is happy with his wife. Why you are asking him why you don't go and get a child? And what the purpose? Read with me carefully. This is the Muslim translation. Whereupon he said, why don't you marry a young girl, a jariyah, so that you could sport with her and she could sport with you? So what the purpose of this relationship is not marriage. It's just fun
Right.
with the child, because you can sport with her and she can sport with you. So here when we see how Muhammad he think and what is his favorite kind of a female to be in the bed. It's not a woman in the age of Khadija. So obviously Muhammad here, when he married Khadija, who is a previously married to 2 husbands, is not his favorite choice. Otherwise, why he advised the man who is married to a widow like Khadija, why you marry a widow? Go and marry a younger child so you can sport with her. So Muhammad he don't like to really have a wife. She is a woman. He like children's, and that is a pure evil. And when they say that in the old days children they used to be mature so fast, well, we have tons of reference saying that Ayesha, first time she have her period, it was over the age of 14, which mean more than 8 years after the date of her marriage, which mean 4 years before Muhammad died only. And here we ask ourselves, if a child have no period, why Muhammad he have a desire for such a child? She is so small. Obviously Muhammad he have mental illness and he like children's, but for sexual purpose.
Pretty
So,
creepy.
so basically, if we have someone saying, "Well, it was acceptable back then, and we shouldn't use this as an objection," what advice would you give that person, especially if they're
But they have to prove
with
it.
problems?
the list of Muslims and Arab before Muhammad. Who? His uncle did that? No. His cousin did that? No. They have to give us, who are those who did marry children? We don't find anything. So all of this is fabrication in order, like we have in history of Europe, some kings, perverted kings, they did that maybe, but this is a perverted kings. So if you are saying your prophet is a perverted king too, well, we agree with you. So when we say that the prophet he did, and not only that, the Muslim they start making fabricated stories that Muhammad he saw Ayesha in his dream, and Allah inspired him to marry Ayesha. That's mean Allah is a sick God too, because why Islam needs 6 years old girl? I mean, cannot Allah establish his religion without 6 years old girl? Islam will succeed unless we need Ayesha. That's funny. It's like saying that Paul cannot be a messenger unless we get him 6 years old wife. No, this is silly. This is stupid. If this is a religion from God, it's going to be victorious regardless if we have Ayesha or not. All what we need is God, and He's a prophet, and that's it. If God is with me, who could be against me? As simple as that. I do not need Ayesha. I do not need anyone. But if you notice, always Muhammad he used God as his puppet. If you remember the fight between Muhammad and his wives.
Yes.
How many people involved in this fight? Everybody, including Allah and the angel Jibril and all the angels. If Sam or David, you can read for us chapter 66 verse number 4, and you see how Muhammad, how he, the Muslim they say, do you remember when the Muslim they says that there's a guy, his name George Bernard Shaw, he said if the prophet he was he can solve all the problem of the world during the coffee in the morning, which we cannot find in any book of this guy. It's a fabrication. But look, Muhammad who can solve all the problems in the world, he cannot solve his problem in the house, to the point he needs Jibreel, Allah, and all the angels, and ISIS, and Al-Qaeda, and Al-Zarqawi, and every fighter, and the Mimi Hijab, and all of them to defend him.